Something magic happens every time you go. Make the magic happen. Make the magic happen.
Heyo, we're back. It's the Orioles Blastics, the one and only.
Hey, wait, whoa. What did you just say? You say...
Heyo, we're back. It's the Orioles Spastics.
It sounded like you said Blastics there for a second.
It's the Orioles Spastics, the one and only podcast on God's green earth that is capable, nay, brave enough to combine Orioles baseball and Arrested Development. I, Deanie Syke, will be your host tonight.
Is that true anymore? Sorry to keep interrupting.
Orioles.
Joining me today, the ever-stylish Charlie Hoppus.
Oh, my God.
And the, stick with me here, parsimonious Chris Knightsey.
Ooh.
Adjectives.
Thank you
Yes.
to the random adjective generator on wordgenerator.net. Parsimonious.
Sponsor for the evening.
Exhibiting or marked by parsimony.
Define parsimony.
Frugal to the point of stinginess.
Seriously?
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
All right. You had to move to Albany, so that's pretty stingy to the point of fruit, or the other way around.
Yeah.
Albany.
Dude.
Guys, this is episode number 10.
10.
1
Double
0.
digits.
10 more than I ever thought. Actually, 9 more. I thought we'd get 1.
Well, we did plan that one the day of. We were like, let's start a podcast. And then that evening we recorded a podcast.
I will say I had my doubts of episode 3, because we did the first 2, and then there was like a month gap. I think that's when you were moving to Albany, Chris. I don't quite remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, we have almost 100 likes. So at this rate, we should have...
Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Ooh, how does that compare to the other
wait,
podcast of Orioles?
Is our fake block not working?
They can find us.
We'd probably
They're
have
finding us.
thousands if not for fake block.
We've been stuck at 95 for a while, but we've gained 2 more. We're at 97. Although I fear
I
that...
thought you said 100.
I said we're almost at
Almost.
100.
Listen,
I don't know
you
if
don't
I
even
ever liked
listen
it.
when you're on the show. Not only do you not listen when you don't
Hold
appear,
on, Charlie. Does that automatically make me like it if I'm a moderator?
Yes.
Okay, because I never actually clicked the like button. Ah, damn. I wanted to hit like.
oh well. This week, I mean, you'd have to say it was a banner week for us at Orioles Spastics.
Check out Banner, Michael.
We made an appearance on the Baltimoreans podcast. We got to catch up with those guys. They are infinitely more fun and smarter than us, but they were nice enough to have us on, and it was a pretty good time.
Yeah, now though your intro is sort of invalid because we're definitely not the only podcast that can do Orioles baseball and Arrested Development, and we're not even the best at it. We're the second best podcast that does Orioles and Arrested Development.
What else
Never
can we
claimed to be
pick?
the best, only that we did it. Chris, did you happen to listen in on that?
Well, so I had plans to listen to it today. I downloaded the podcast before going to work. I got to
They
work.
probably appreciated that.
Yeah, I got to work, and everyone's standing outside the building. So I hang around for a while. Apparently, there was a water main burst or some kind of like water pipe blew up. The whole building was flooding. So I hung out there for about 2 hours, and we were told to go home. So of course, when I got home, I had other
Good day
things
at
that I
work.
wanted to do. So I didn't get a chance to listen to that podcast. I had
Wait, you came home, had nothing to do.
Well, I had stuff to do.
Okay.
But you couldn't have listened to the podcast while doing those
Well, I was
steps?
vacuuming.
Oh, you were spending all that time preparing for today's podcast.
I was vacuuming for hours.
Well, let's real quickly, for you, Chris, and for you only, because all of our listeners have probably already listened to that Baltimoreans podcast. Let's go through our Blues lineup really quick.
Okay.
Actually, what did we do? So basically, we took the Orioles lineup, not the everyday lineup, just who we thought mixed in well, personality-wise, with an Arrested Development character, and we put them in the field. So let's run through those.
And this was Dean and I selecting it. So Chris, let me know at the end of this if you've got any that you disagree with. But we had Michael Bluth as Matt Wieters, stoic, all of that. We had White Power Bill as Chris Davis, an interesting selection, I believe. J. Walter Weatherman for, of course, Brian Roberts. At third, we had the beautiful, perfect, above reproach Sally Sitwell for the beautiful, perfect, above reproach Manny Machado. In a very interesting selection, we had Earl Milford as our shortstop, J.J. Hardy. Listen in for that one.
Neither seen nor heard.
We had Ann for Steve Pierce, both for their inability to get knocked over. Maybe Fimke as Adam Jones. Wayne Jarvis for Nick Markakis, because the
He's a pro.
guy's a pro. Uncle Jack Dorso for Nolan Reimold for his complete inability to use his body. And our pitching staff had Gene Parmesan as Kevin Guzman.
Nice.
Everyone was very excited about how good he was. And we had Joe Bluth as Petey Strope. Well, just because their meltdowns are amazing and their insecurities are deep. So that's what we came up with. You should definitely check out their podcast and hear all of ours. And they have some awesome ones. They definitely outdid us.
The favorite of ours, well, at least of the one that I developed, I think it was Uncle Jack Dorso as Nolan Reimold. So to expand on that a little bit, to give you an insight on what you might hear over there at Baltimoreans, we said that Uncle Jack has no use of his legs. He lost them in this tragic, misguided feat of strength. And as a result, he can't do anything for himself. Just like Nolan Reimold, he has this misguided thought that he's a Major League Baseball player, and he continually tries to make plays, which only results in him not being able to use his body. If you shake Uncle Jack, or if he's just mildly made uncomfortable in some way, he starts spewing out fluids, and he's insisting that it's okay. Just like Nolan Reimold insists that every time he tries to play baseball, his body breaks and it's normal. There's just so many parallels there.
It's good. Uncle Jack sort of flies under the radar. I liked our J. Walter Weatherman for Brian Roberts, but I think they definitely landed a much better one with Ryan Flaherty as Buster Bluth. We have Mr. Flaherty as Mr. F on ours, but I think Buster Bluth.
Mr. F.
I think Buster might be a better comparison, because they were just saying that they're sort of meek and useless and sort of know it.
They know they'll never fit in.
They know they'll never fit in. And best of all, they were suggesting that whenever you see Ryan Flaherty strike out weakly on an off-speed pitch, don't get mad. Just as you're watching the highlight, imagine him saying, "Hey, off-speed pitch," as he flails lightly and strikes out. I now can't not do that. I've spent some time.
So good. Same with Steve Pierce. I like that too.
You need to check out the podcast if you haven't. It's beautiful. You can find it on BaltimoreAnsPodcast.com. Check it out, or you can find the link on our Facebook page. Chris, what did you think?
How'd we do?
Okay, so just glancing at it, I had a couple additions. For Job, I thought Pedro Strop was good because he does have those, meltdowns, but Jake Arrieta also has meltdowns as well, and I think he's even more insecure than Pedro Strop because anytime anyone's on base, he just kind of has like some kind of meltdown. But once again, Jake Arrieta is also not really on the roster all that much. Only so often is he called up. So I guess I don't know if that would really apply.
It works. They had Lou Ford in for theirs, so I think.
He hasn't even been up this year. Let's see, and then for my two additions. For a relief pitcher to round out our pitching staff, I had George Michael as TJ McFarland. They're both the young ones. They're very inexperienced. And much like George Michael, TJ McFarland's kind of lived a sheltered life. He hasn't had much real world experience, whether that's because of Buck Showalter's doing or, Michael Bluth's doing.
Sure.
And then Earl Milford. I wanted you guys, you had.
Well, I think you forgot the best parallel of George Michael and TJ McFarland.
You were telling us earlier.
Yeah. They both have a crustache.
I do.
They both tragically shaved them.
Yes.
Yeah,
did he? McFarland? Oh no,
it's gone.
Yeah, he had that porn stash kind of thing, and so did George Michael in season 4. So they both share that quality.
It gave him some swag, I think.
Yeah. And then I had a little change with Earl Milford. The man who's never seen nor heard. I had Yamaiko Navarro because believe it or not, he was on the roster for a while there.
We
never saw him or heard from him at all.
And now he's not on the roster.
Now, he was just sent down a couple days ago.
Well, he was.
But until then,
he was designated. He's gone.
That's why I can't find him on the 40 man.
He's gone.
Oh, he's even off the 40-man.
He got
Dang.
designated, so I don't know if he's
From
passed
whence
through.
he came.
Yeah,
Navarro. Goodbye.
I like that.
So long.
Well, cool. Let's get to baseball action. We just finished up a series with Detroit. Yet another series win.
Crushing them.
Or the AL Central. What is that? The best they got?
Weak.
Man, we're throwing out the freaking
The top-
cavalry against them, and we're throwing out the cavalry, and we
The
we're still
original
getting-
cavalry.
We're getting series wins. Good times had by all. Arrieta, Britton, and Tillman, and 2 out of 3. One of those,
Only one of those is a good pitcher.
only one of those is at all established.
And who is it? Arietta, probably.
It's not Arrieta. It's not Arrieta.
Is Tillman a number one pitcher? Is he our number one? Is Gonzo our number one?
I think Tillman.
Probably Tillman. I wish that he
really?
could go deeper
How
into
can he be
games.
he never. His pitch count. It was like the first inning, he threw 25 pitches.
Yeah,
In the first inning of that outing, I was like, well,
not
it's
good.
gonna be one of those games.
I just like that what Tillman's shown this year is like he's had games where he hasn't had his stuff. He's walked a lot of batters, but with the exception of the Nationals game where he went like 3 innings and gave up like 6 runs, all the other games where he hasn't had his best stuff, he's gone at least like 5 innings, maybe 6. Like he's walked a couple batters, too many than you're comfortable with, but he's at least gotten through those innings, and he's only given up a couple runs each time. So, I mean, that's compared to like when he would actually have meltdowns where he would go like 1 or 2 innings. It's quite the improvement. So I'm okay with that. And I think that's kind of shown that he can get through days when even he doesn't have his best stuff. He can just,
Well,
Buckle
who
up.
else has been great lately? Nick Markakis.
Nick
Am I right?
Markakis.
Am I right?
The man is a professional.
He's a pro. The man's a pro.
He's a pro. All he does is hit. He has great at bats. He hustles in the field.
Nick Markakis is sitting at like a 761 OPS for the season so far.
Okay, so
I love Nick Markakis. He's a very professional guy.
He's batting like 300.
Well, yes.
300
So
for the
did
year.
Jay Payton the year before we picked him up, and look what he did for us.
I don't think we can compare
We can't,
Nick
but-
Markakis to Jay Payton.
But I just want to. Dean just throw the batting average figure. And
Well, you just threw out the OPS figure.
Yeah, one's more accurate.
Yeah,
Both accurate.
One includes the
measure.
other.
I get what Chris is saying because Markakis' OPS for a while wasn't being eclipsed by Steve Pearce's, but I don't think that really encapsulates all of Markakis' game. I know that things like intangibles sound ridiculous, but I mean we were talking. This is the one bit of baseball we did talk on Baltimoreans. We were talking about it, and he just does the little things right, and I know that's so annoying to say. But he does. He hits the ball the other way. He has long at bats. He hustles in the field, even though he's not nearly as good of an outfielder as when he won a Gold Glove at all. At all, he's not. His range is bad, and his arm is going, and he still gets outfield assists. He does the best that I think he can with his limited ability. He didn't end up having a career like we hoped, but he's having a pretty solid career, and also he's hitting better over the last month. He's OPSing
The only one
over
thing
800.
I can look at, he for a while was the hardest hitter in the AL to strike out. I think he's digressed a little bit on that, but
at one time he had like a ridiculously low. I can't see if I can. So right now he only has 28 strikeout through 322 plate appearances,
Yeah, that's
or
pretty good.
290. Yeah,
he has 5 in his last 30 is the only thing. But
yeah.
it's
So
pretty darn
my
impressive.
beef isn't necessarily with Nick Markakis, because I love Nick Markakis. I think he's the right guy for this team. His patience, at least his walks, isn't to where it used to be like 3 years ago. His defense is actually back up. He's actually playing better defense according to the range metrics. So he's playing better defense than he did last year. So that's good. Except my only beef is that I think it'll be hilarious if he somehow gets voted into the All-Star game as a starter. I don't think he necessarily deserves.
He's in right now, isn't he? Sitting at
He's at
3.
He's in third place, I think. I mean, I love Nick Markakis. I think he deserved it a couple years ago, but I think now he's kind of not past his prime because he's still.
Well, every once in a while that happens. You get kind of like the legacy vote into the All-Star game.
Derek Jeter,
So I'd be
Brown
okay with that.
Peters.
Yeah.
So your beef isn't necessarily with Markakis. Your
No.
beef is with Chris Davis. What a chump.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say about Chris Davis that watching him in that Detroit series, I have never felt this way about an Orioles player ever. I think, is he the best Orioles hitter we've seen as fans? I think he's got to be, right?
Slamming Sammy.
What he's done this year, totally.
He's got to be the best. You feel like he's gonna get 2 hits every single night, and he has Wieters hitting behind him. How is he doing it? And also I did want to bring this up, and I don't want to take up too much time and talk about it. Maybe another time. But I know that tinkering with the lineup is frowned upon. But can't we hit him higher than 5th? Because the difference between 5th and 3rd in a lineup over the course of a season is usually between 30 and 40 plate appearances. Wouldn't it be nice to get Chris Davis, by far our best hitter, 30 or 40 more plate appearances?
Over the course of a season, but you win games one at a time.
Or you could say, I mean, that's
so get him another plate appearance once a game or so?
Yeah.
Still better.
I mean, right now he's comfortable. He's obviously comfortable in that 5th position. Is that like a thing where if you take him out of that, will it screw with his head? Or maybe it won't. Maybe it's not even a big deal. But I mean, what if it is?
I'm saying that right now hitting behind him is Matt Wieters. So he's going to see more pitches, definitely, if he hits 3rd.
We should look. Is there a breakdown stat that shows how, like, his batting stats when he bats in the 1st inning versus when he starts in the 2nd inning?
There are, but it's sort of inconsequential because if he's batting in the 1st or 2nd inning, it depends on how the people ahead of him have done because he's batting 5th. It's not. Yeah. He hasn't batted 3rd at all this whole season, has he? I think he's batted 5th every single game.
I'm just trying to think of an argument against this.
And the other thing is, and I understand keeping the lineup structured, but Buck doesn't keep the lineup structured. He has Markakis lead off. He has McLeod lead off. He has J.J. Hardy for no reason hit 3rd sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So he should. Although now Hardy's bat has come along quite a bit. So
sure, but I mean, if based on earlier this year and all of last season, there was no reason to hit J.J. Hardy 3rd, and he was hitting him 3rd. Oh, no. I'm not saying that a Buck knows, and I'm not trying to I'm just saying it would be nice to get another 30 or 40 plate appearances for Chris Davis. That's all.
All right. You said you didn't want to spend a lot of time on it.
I'm done.
So let's move on. You're done? You're good?
I'm done. I'm good.
Well, moving on. Let's look at the state of the division. A couple weeks ago, the division looked much different than it does right now. All of a sudden, Toronto's back in it. Everybody has tightened up quite a bit. We have not exactly the division we thought we'd have at the beginning of the season. We thought we'd beat each other up a little bit, and it would bring everyone collectively down. But the AL East is still amongst the best in baseball right now.
AL Beast, am I right?
Is that a thing?
I don't like that.
Hashtag AL Beast.
No,
you heard it here first.
No one heard it here first. They probably thought of it.
So once Toronto wins their next game, which is inevitable, they'll be 500, and then everyone will be above 500 in our division.
That would be ridiculous if the year finished with 5 teams over 500. Has that ever happened since they've gone to 3 different divisions?
No.
I don't think so. AL East has been the closest, I believe.
I'm going to say no.
But could it happen here?
No.
Have we not played all of our divisional games? I'm not sure how the schedule's been structured.
I don't know. I haven't done any research or put any thought into this. But no. I'm going to say no.
I don't think it's going to happen this year at all, but I mean, what if? That would be great.
Who drops below the 500 line then? Who's dropping down?
Well,
actually, let's first, before we say that, let's look at, we made preseason predictions, all of us. So let's look at where we were then, and then we'll kind of give ourselves a chance to look at where we think we'll end up. So where were we then? Charlie Hoppus put the O's at 85 to 88 wins, and his division was the Rays in number 1, then the O's, the Jays, the Sox, and the Yankees.
Okay. You know what? I don't hate that. Still right now. I would take that. I would take that division. I think that it could end up that way. The Rays, I think, are coming on, and I think that their pitching is going to get better. I think that we are in a good position. I think the Jays are going to continue to improve, and I think that, well...
You have stayed consistent that you thought that the Sox and Yankees aren't going to keep it up, but they're kind of keeping it up.
The Yankees are going to continue to
Yankees are
falter.
Yeah, they're falling.
They're not going to... If there's a team if you said, bet your life that there's a team that's going to finish under 500, I would bet my life that the Yankees are going to finish under. in that
Okay.
division. There's nothing to that team.
Wow.
There really isn't. And I mean, every advanced stat backs it up, which I'm not going to cite because first off, it's not in front of me, and second off, I don't want to
not
because
how-
it's our
that's-
podcast.
We don't
Don't
have
get
to.
too nerdy up in here.
I already had
All right,
my
Chris.
nerdy advanced stat of the day by saying that between 5th and 3rd, you gain 40 plate appearances. That's all I got.
Chris had 82 wins.
So I had the Jays, the Rays, Sox, Orioles, and Yankees in that order. So right now I'm sitting pretty well at the Sox, followed by the Orioles. However, they're not in 3rd and 4th place right now. So yeah, I like how I had the Jays at the top. Now, 2 weeks ago, obviously that would be almost comical, but now they're kind of coming on. They're only a game below. Also, 82 wins. I'm hoping we finish a little above that, especially how we're playing, and I think we can sustain. Obviously, how we're playing now is sustainable. I think the numbers show it's at least sustainable.
It's sustainable to throw out Arrieta and Sweaty Freddy in our.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's going to keep happening. Dean, you were the more pessimistic one. You had
I know,
75.
I was the most pessimist. I thought I would be middle of the road, yeah. I was at 75 wins. My division kind of looks all right now. I had the Sox, the Rays, the Yankees, then the O's, and then the Jays. So I got the top and the bottom as we stand right now, and then that middle cluster. So, yeah, it's the Jays.
It's just too early to tell on any of these teams right now.
And the Jays, you would think, they're progressing forward. They're looking good. They're about to get Reyes back, but then Reyes is going to get hurt in 2 weeks, and they're all going to be really bummed again, and they'll find their way back down to that cellar.
I think that's something worth bringing up is that our announcers had a unbelievable week. First, Gary Thorne quoted Jim Leland on the air. And said
they were also singing.
He quoted Jim Leland on the air talking about Prince Fielder and Miguel Cabrera and called them sons of bitches on the air. And then the other night on the radio, Joe Angel looked at our rotation that we're going to be playing against in Toronto and said, what was it, Dickey, Wang, and Johnson. It won't be hard for us to get up for that series.
Oh.
Real things that our announcer said. Our announcer said these things on the air.
They were singing, I forget what song they were singing, but everyone on Twitter was urging them to start singing Journey. I don't know if they eventually did.
I don't know if they did.
My favorite quote of the last series was Joe Angel and Manfred, as it's properly pronounced. Like a bug landed on his microphone. He was like, he couldn't believe that this bug landed on his microphone. He was like, this bug. And Fred Manfred was like, don't eat the bug, Joe.
Our broadcast crew
so
is obscene.
Hey, so I found something interesting.
Oh.
Since we were talking about the AL Beast and the potential of that everyone finishing over 500. I remember this from a while ago. In 2005, the NL West Division was won by the San Diego Padres with a record of 82 and 80, so 2 games above 500, followed by Arizona at 77 and 85. 75 and 87 was the Giants, Dodgers at 71-91, and the Rockies at 67-95. So it's almost the inverse of what we were talking about. They almost all finished over 500 or under 500.
Interesting.
Under 500. That's so ridiculous.
I feel like that's more feasible than the other way around, though.
Not mathematically, Dean.
Yeah, but I feel like you see that in football too. Sometimes there's awful divisions.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Well, whatever. It's not football season yet.
I've made a huge mistake. I know the feeling. I had you. I'm your father, Steve Holt. I can't hide from it anymore. I won't forget this, Dad. I will. I will.
It is that time again for those Forget Me Now performances of the week. We wish they didn't happen, but you know what? They just did. So let's go through our pitcher and swinger for the week. Who's got a Forget Me Now performance pitcher?
I'll take the pitcher because it's a gimme. Jake Arrieta, Jake the Snake. I love him.
The Snake.
Jake the Meltdown Arrieta Snake.
I didn't even know we were calling him Big Bear.
didn't even know we were calling him Jake the Snake, but
Yeah. Jake the Snake Plumber.
four innings, not football season. Four and 2/3, 10 hits, 5 runs. Not too good.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
No, it is terrible. Yes, terrible.
Okay.
He's still having those. It seems he's still having those anxiety issues.
Is that what that is?
Apparently, yeah. Before he was demoted earlier in the season, he was talking
Oh,
about
that's right.
anxiety. Like when he gets runners on, he just kind of just freaks out a little bit and can't. Yes, I mean it's similar to like that Zach Greinke situation from quite a few years ago when he was with the Royals.
That makes
Zach Greinke, he's the
that
man.
makes so Zach Greinke is the man.
He's figured it out.
I can't think of anyone better, but that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and I mean, and it kind of makes sense looking at his statistics because I think his batting average of balls in play is pretty low, and even his expected FIP, his fielding independent pitching, is actually a lot lower than what it is now, and that makes sense because he gives up singles. When he has runners on, he just gives up these little singles, and it just seems like he's just kind of having a tiny little meltdown. Like, it doesn't go all to crap, but, I mean, I don't know. He's just having a little problem mentally, and if he can cut out, I think he can still have a career, at least, in the bullpen.
Really? You think he's going to go there? I was going to say the only consolation is he's
No,
never
I mean,
going
I
to be
think
heard
he
from
can
again.
at least have a career in the bullpen, if not.
Back from whence he came.
Yeah.
From whence he came.
How about a swinger?
Swanger. Mr. F. I'm going to Mr. F this week. Although, Mr. Ryan Flaherty, in the last 7 games, he's OPSing 490.
Small sample size.
Small sample size, 24 at-bats in the last 7 games.
But doesn't it feels like he's doing better? Like
because the last 2 games,
hey, he's scoring runs. He's actually running around.
Now, I say this, even though the last 2 games he has gone combined 4 for 9, which isn't that's pretty good. He's actually raised his batting average 17 points.
Hey, off-speed pitch.
But he's still not doing it. He's still below 500 OPS.
Why are we spending any amount of time talking about this?
Yeah, let's stop it because we have some good things to talk about, like
Hey! Solid as a rock!
Also, we should go back and touch on, it's just because it makes you uncomfortable that we're busting the balls of your boyfriend. But, Charlie, solid as a rock performance. We have so much good that happens lately. It's good to be Orioles fans right now. We have good to talk about.
Good.
So let's do it. Let's get our solid as a rock pitcher.
Now, I went with Zach Britton, his start against the Tigers. Now, he only went 5 1/3 and 1 earned run. He actually did. So, he went 5 1/3 innings. He had only 1 run. I think he walked 3 guys, which isn't great. But, hey, for his first start after coming back up, that's beyond serviceable. That's pretty dang good.
Mm-hmm. Way to go, Zach Britton.
Hey! Solid as a rock!
Charlie, you got a swinger?
So I had, of course, I already mentioned this, Chris Davis, I won't go too far into it, but just to rehash the lovely totals. 5 home runs, 13 RBI, 1275 OPS in the last week. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
He's
a first baseman.
Yeah, he is a first baseman.
And there's a new first baseman on the Orioles roster.
Well, we knew this day would come.
Our new favorite segment, Pronunciations with Charlie.
That's not a segment. That's not a segment.
Section. Sorry, it's a
It's
section.
not a section. It's not something.
Our new favorite section.
That's not something that we do.
So let's go. Let's go, Charlie.
Keep bringing people up. It is.
All right.
We know you got the first name down.
Travis.
So the new first baseman / DH for the Orioles, who probably won't spend too much time with us this season, but his name is pronounced
Travis Ishikawa.
Ding. I wish I had a ding.
Is that correct?
A doodle doodle doo.
Is that real?
Ishikawa. I felt good about that one. I feel like
I could just sound that one out. All I do is sound it out.
I was hoping you would say Ishikawa.
That's the only way.
Sound it out. How
Ishikawa.
exactly do you sound out Casilla and have a T in there if you're sounding it out?
It's silent.
Where does the T come from?
It's not silent.
Still, where does the lighter fluid come
It's
from?
invisible. It's an invisible T. You have to know it's there.
All right. Well, that segment was great.
I have a what is the
A
word?
bug on your mic?
I don't have that.
You have
I have a correction to
prop
make.
speaking.
I have a correction to make regarding Jake Arrieta. His batting average balls in play was low. It's actually high. I meant high. It's actually a lot higher than average. So
like
in case there's any,
Like 5 minutes ago.
I know.
Remember
I
how we
just
said we
wanted
were
to
wasting
say.
our time talking about him, and
Waiting.
now you're wasting our time going back to the guy we decided we were wasting our time.
Interrupt Charlie in his pronunciation of Travis Ishikawa.
Ishikawa.
That also wasn't even your forget me now. Why are you even talking about it?
Plus, we're on to
about
another
it.
segment, which is Banana Grabber Trivia, and I don't have a soundbite for it, so we'll just make it. We'll make it this one.
Okay, he may be afraid of sex, but you're not
No.
going to win without it. No, I'm not afraid of sex. Oh, good. Have sex with this girl right now. Do it. Go. Get in there. Have some sex with her right now. I didn't think so.
I am so excited for somebody to be listening to that at their office. And
Banana Grabber Trivia. Get your boots ready. I think that's something that they say. But Banana Grabber Trivia. We are revisiting this after a long hiatus. The rules are as stands. I will say a question. You will ring in. Your ring-in noises are chicken dances. Charlie, your chicken dance noise ring-in. We're going to mix it up this time. You're going to be Job.
okay, good.
Right? So yours is caw, 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 caw. And you have to clap your hands and do that gesture.
I'm in Job stamp.
All around your newly cleaned bathroom.
You got to put on
I
the...
did just clean my bathroom. I listened to Sarah McLachlan and cleaned my bathroom.
In the arms of the angel.
It was actually
This is taking a terrible turn.
Actually, I was mostly listening to I Will Remember You as I cleaned the scum off. I was like, man, we've had some good times together, scum.
Stop. Okay, Chris, your chicken dance call will continue to be Lucille, which is...
I can
Well, you
do it myself.
Very good. Remember, the first to ring in gets the shot at answering first. However, should you answer incorrectly, you will be deducted a point. So here we go. We're going to start off. All of these questions are having to do with the Orioles and stats for this season. So I want to ask you, by the honor code, please close your browsers if they include any kind of stats.
Closed.
And we will start. Here we go. Starting off, which pitcher leads the Orioles and wins?
Ka 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 ka.
That was a terrible impersonation, but I'll give it to you anyway. Charlie.
It's Tillman. It's Chris Tillman.
It is Chris Tillman. Who would have known? He's our number one. He's an ace, clearly.
Ace. The staff ace.
All right. This one is a little bit trickier.
That was a cornball, Dean. That was easy.
That was, but it took you guys a while to ring in.
I couldn't. The problem was I was trying to think of the chicken dance noise. I blanked for a second, and then I didn't do it right anyway. I have it now.
Well, this one should be just as easy. What pitcher has the most losses on the season?
Wow.
Tricky one. All right, Chris.
I want to say Jake Arrieta.
Wow.
It's not Jake Arrieta. Starting off with a -1.
That's all right.
Charlie.
Yeah.
It's tricky.
I'm gonna go with Jason Hamill.
Jason Hamill is tied for second
Oof.
in the Orioles for losses. Is actually Jim Johnson with 5 losses on the year. Very tricky. All right.
Well, Charlie's at 0 now, right?
Charlie has 0. Chris, you have -1. Here we go. Off to a great start. Again, the pitcher.
We are knowledgeable
What pitcher-
Orioles fans.
Well, that one was tough. What pitcher leads the team in ERA?
Wait, minimum innings? What's the...
Nope, doesn't matter. Christopher.
Tommy Hunter.
So close.
What?
That's incorrect.
Now I know what it is, but man. Oh, for show.
I'm not going to steal because I don't want to go to -1.
Tommy Hunter was close because he was second on the team. There's one
I guess
that's
it must have
better.
been Darren O'Day then.
That was indeed Darren O'Day, leading the team this year with a 1.65 ERA.
What's
Tommy Hunter's at
oh
1.82.
my god. They're so tiny.
So close. All right, -2 to
That's
0.
the first time Tommy Hunter's anything has been described as tiny. He's a
Ooh.
big man. With a big heart.
Moving on. Next question. Which player leads the team in hits?
Ooh.
Ka.
Oh, interesting.
Who won that?
I think Chris went
Oh,
ooh first,
come on.
but that wasn't really his call.
Oh.
So no, I'm gonna go with Chris
Oh,
on
come
that
on.
one.
Machado.
Manny Machado. Do you know how many?
97.
No.
He's actually eclipsed 100. He's what, like the sixth youngest to get to 100 hits or something, or the sixth fastest?
Not six fast.
He is at 103, 33 doubles, which leads the majors.
I think it's youngest to
And
get
Davis,
get to that number that fast, I think.
Isn't
Yeah, that's
he's
what it
on
was.
pace to break the doubles record still, I think, right?
Yeah, he has 33 to lead the majors. Second is Chris Davis, who's tied with two other guys at 23. It's kind of insane.
Rushing.
All right, next question. Who leads the team in walks? Batters.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, out of batters? Hitters?
Yes.
Swingers?
Swingers.
Swingers?
Oh, man.
Dang.
Oh, I thought it was a
What's a
toss-up.
little do?
All right, Chris.
Is it still Chris Davis?
It is still Chris
He
Davis.
has not walked lately either. He's still leading.
It's true. It's kind of getting close. He's at 32.
That's what made me pause too.
28, I think.
32, and McLouth is second with 30. So very, very
That's
close.
what made me pause too. I didn't want to say Chris Davis because he hasn't walked in a bit.
You guys know what the score right now is?
0-0.
0-0. Next
How many
question.
how many more questions we got?
Four more
okay.
questions.
Let's play it.
All right. Here we go. Who is second on the team in home runs?
I could a little do.
Chris.
Oh God, why did I answer that? Is it Adam Jones?
Adam Jones. Yes.
Whew, I almost said Hardy. I almost. He's right
Adam
there.
Jones with 15. Hardy with 14. So close. And obviously Chris Davis leading the Orioles and leading the majors with 26. Oh, the tides have turned here.
Really? What's the
Tides
score in
have-
that game?
1-0.
Well, it's 1-0.
No, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about Norfolk.
Oh.
Bad.
Nice
A
joke.
bad AAA joke.
That was a good joke. It was just lost on us. Who are
Bad AAA joke.
All right, this one's going to be interesting. I'm going to say on the count of 3, you both have to give me your answer, okay? So it's not who goes first. The question is going to be, on 3, you're going to say how many stolen bases you think Nate McLouth has this year. And it's going to be the closest without going over will be the winner. All right? Steals by Nate McLouth. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
22.
Charlie, what was
23.
that? 23
I said
is
22.
closest
22.
because he has
Oh,
24.
did he break his record? Oh, okay. Or does he have 20?
He's up to 20.
Is 25 his record?
Really? His record
Yeah.
is 25?
Yeah, record
he
I
was
think
like-
was 23, I thought.
Okay, so yeah, okay. So he is above it.
Yes.
And here we are to the last question. I was hoping it would come down to this. We are tied 1-1.
Pitcher's duel.
Pitcher's duel. Here we go. The last question is, who currently is leading the team in batting average? Charlie?
What? No way!
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis is incorrect. It is not Chris Davis.
Well, I
Come
refuse
on.
to answer then. I win.
You have to answer.
Come
If you don't
on.
answer,
Are you serious?
yeah, you can't win on a non-answer.
Okay, so this isn't like a plate appearance minimum.
Nope.
Okay, then I'll go Danny Valencia.
That is incorrect. Danny Valencia, he's not even batting 300. Actually,
Well, over the last 7 games, he's getting 400.
You
That's the last
idiot.
games.
Uh,
Well, we ended in a tie.
Is it
The answer
Brian Roberts?
is, as I often allude to on this podcast, Brian Roberts.
Yeah,
Come
dude, first.
That's the worst thing you could have ever done. Why did you do that?
I was hoping this would happen.
Beforehand, that
The
he's not-
host wins.
This has been an awful podcast.
Well, what did you expect?
just like always. I'm really upset.
Have met all of your expectations this week on the Orioles Spastics. So let's get into everyone's favorite section, clothing thoughts.
Clothing thoughts. Man, what did we hit already
Clothing
this year?
thoughts. Hey guys, I just noticed Men's Warehouse is having a sale on travel suits. So if you need a nice travel suit, go ahead and pick one up at menswarehouse.com or at your local Men's Warehouse.
Wow.
I don't even know what What's the difference between a travel suit and a regular
I don't
suit?
know. I
Hey,
didn't
hey,
actually
hey,
read-
hey, hey!
Oh, I mean, I know those things because I'm great at fashion.
Look, just try it on. You'll like the way you look. I guarantee it.
Actually, Charlie, I recently saw you in bow tie and fedora at a wedding, and it went quite nicely, if I may say so.
Thank you. It was a sort of a dicey fedora. It was a straw hat. I'm still not sure that I pulled it off, but I liked it. I will say that I'm very proud of my most recent bow tie, which is a bow tie covered in a design that is entirely bow ties. It's very, it's a bow tie within a bow tie. It's
Are
very
they different colored bow ties, or?
Yes. The bow tie itself is sort of a maroon, but all the bow ties on it are different shades of blue and yellow and red. And it's a very meta bow tie.
Clothing thoughts, I say, always carry a spare set of shoes and socks wherever you go in your car. You never know when some sort of sporting event or adventurous hike of some kind will happen, and it's nice to be prepared.
So you're saying hiking boots or
No.
cleats?
Just shoes, because if it's cleats or hiking boots, you can't use one for the other. If you have just a pair of athletic shoes, you could get away with, either
Like
or.
PF Flyers, maybe?
PF Flyers would be great.
Good. PF Flyers.
And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. We'd also love to hear from you. Please email us your feedback, questions, comments, angry messages, OrielSpastics@gmail.com. Also, you can check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter @OrielSpastics. For Charlie Hoppus and for Chris Knightsey, I am merely Dean Eastlake. Thank you, as always, for listening, and remember to drink responsibly.
Please tell your friends about this show.